What if grief means learning how to be alone?
Hey friends, welcome to the Inner Spark podcast. I'm your host, Casey Tayton. If you're looking to hear stories of transformation and personal growth, this podcast is for you. My guest and I will be sharing those sparking moments that has changed them into living a more fulfilling, authentic life. I'm so excited for you to hear each unique story. So sit back, relax, and let's get started.
Hey friend, welcome back to the Inner Spark podcast. I'm your host, Casey Tayton. This is part of the grief series. Today, I'm sitting down with someone I don't usually get to interview. My grandfather, Glenn Gum. My grandfather, Glenn, was married to my grandmother, Sheila, for 69 years before she passed. My grandfather and I recorded this conversation at Table Rock Lake, where our family has vacationed together for many, many years. So what you're about to hear isn't a studio interview, it's just us talking, the way we always have. My grandpa agreed to share this because he wants it to help someone else who's walking through the same thing. Here's my grandpa on grief. I'm sitting here with my grandpa, and we're going to talk about grief. Grandpa, what does grief mean to you?
Well, to me, my grief was being married 69 years and then losing your partner. And then being alone, basically, and not having the companionship, not having your morning coffees, visit about what you're going to do that afternoon or that day or the following week. It's just being alone and kind of going into a shell where you're not active with other people and you're not out doing things you don't want to. It's easier to stay in bed than to get up. It's easier than once you get out of bed is not leave the house, not go anywhere, not do anything. It's just isolation. Being by yourself, to me, is the worst part of grief.
What would you say that grief is love? Because you lived with Grandma for how many years?
69 years.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah, it was a long time. Yeah, there's a lot to the word love. A lot of it's unspoken. It's your actions dictate your love. And it's a feeling of, I guess, being comfortable, of having companionship, doing things together. And so, yeah, love, the loss of a loved one is really hard to overcome, I think.
Yeah. If you were to tell them, what are some action things that you've done that kind of change your life, what would you say?
Well, initially, I tried to live by myself, and that didn't work. I have friends that are older than I and are single, and they're living by themselves, and they're doing a very good job of it. I couldn't. For one thing, I kind of went into isolation. I didn't do things. My wife and I were very active when she was alive. We done things, a lot of things together. And when that's taken away from you, if you stop doing that, then you're losing the battle because you have to stay active. You need to stay connected. And at where we lived, there were activities that I could have attended. I chose not to because it's easier to sit in the house than to go out and do these other things. So you need to stay active. You need to stay positive. I had a negative attitude, the glass is half empty, and found out that it's just as easy or easier for me to stay positive than it is to be negative. You can have negative thoughts. You go around and that's all you're thinking all the time is negative thoughts. Well, why do I do this or why am I going to do that? And it's just as easy to be positive. It's just as easy to say good morning in the morning as to, if you say so, be grumpy or something. And especially now since I've moved to my new facility, I don't want to be known as that grumpy old man. I want to be the guy that's positive. I want to be the guy that's cheerful, that greets everybody every morning, that helps when he can. I'm somewhat limited, but I like to be able to, if nothing more than open a door or hold the door open or hold the elevator door open or something like that. But positive, you've got to be very positive thinking. And my counselors stress this, you have to be very, very thankful for the things that you have. I have a wonderful family. Oh my gosh. I couldn't exist without my family. They helped me tremendously. And they helped me just being around me and then me being around them. And I have some other friends that live in the apartment, and he doesn't go watch his grandchildren play baseball because they play in the evening, and he don't want to fight the rush hour traffic. It's all on the other side of town, and he feels like that's not worth it. Well, that's up to him. Of course, in my situation, I don't have to drive. All I have to do is ride. But to me, it is worth it to get out and do those things. And that's what you have to do. If you go into isolation, you're not doing anything. First of all, your health starts to deteriorate. You're not exercising. You're not eating correctly. I ate fast food at least twice a week when I was living by myself, which isn't, I mean, I'm not saying that fast food can't be healthy, but not a steady diet of it like I was eating, But it was easier for me to go get something and bring it back than to go out and actually eat or to fix something. It's hard to cook for one person. And so it's easier just to run down to the fast food restaurant, get something, and bring it back. But the main thing is being positive, have a positive attitude, wanting to be the friendly guy and being the friendly guy. When my wife first died, I went to her graveside every day. And then finally once a week, maybe. And I'd go out there and we'd have basically a morning coffee conversation. And I quit doing that because I felt like that when I went out there, first of all, I felt guilty that she was the one to go and not me, and I felt like I should be there in that gravesite instead of her. And it's easy just to get drawn back down to the point where you feel like life's not worth living. Another thing you have to overcome is your health issues, and I have several. I have a vision problem. I have a problem with my balance. I have a problem with my back. I've had nerve damage, and I have problems with my back. And so the thing you have to do is realize what you can do and then continue to do those things. You may have to put some limitations on the things that you do or don't do. And you just have to realize the things you can do, and then you need to keep doing them. You need to do that. The facility where I live now has exercise classes 5 days a week, and I hit all of them. I go to all the exercise classes. On several occasions, I've been asked to lead the exercise class, which is fine. I like doing that also. So I feel like overall, I'm probably in better health than I've been for a long time because I'm eating regularly, I'm eating nutritiously, I'm exercising regularly, and I'm getting rest. It doesn't mean I don't take a nap in the afternoons because sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. But, you just have to stay positive. You have to stay active. And sometimes that's hard to do. When I would be anxious, start getting anxious, I'd have a knot in my stomach. My appetite, nothing tastes good. I didn't want to eat anything. You know how you are when you're anxious. You're just tense and you're built up, and you just feel like you're waiting for the next thing to happen. And I see a counselor. Now I don't see him as often as I used to, but I have, and he's been very helpful. My family's been very, very helpful. and my change of attitude. I've just changed my attitude. I thought, you need to be positive. You need to enjoy life. You need to, obviously, there's limits, things you can do and not do. And you need to accept those limits but continue to do those things. If you don't, my sister-in-law told me, she said, Glenn, if you sit in your house and not do anything, the devil wins. And you don't want him to win. So you need to get out, you need to be active, and that's hard to do. I can't drive anymore. My vision is impaired, and it is difficult. I have to rely on somebody else, take me, and that's an inconvenience on their part. But still, I think it's important for you to be active and do things, but stay positive. That's the biggest thing. You have to have a positive frame of mind and not just say it. You have to do it. You have to practice it. You have to say good morning. You have to say, can I help you? Wait a minute, let me hold that door for you, or let me carry that for you while you're hold that for you. You can't just mouth the words, you have to do it. And to me, when you do it, you feel a lot better about it. You're helping somebody. You're not griping or complaining about the food or the conditions or anything, and staying positive, being active, and realizing you're not abandoning your partner just because you don't go to the gravesite every week like I used to. Your life has to go on, and you have to live certainly a beneficial life, which requires you to do those things that we've just talked about. And I think if you do that, some people maybe will still have times when will get sad. There's times that I get sad, but you have to work through them, and you have to keep on going, and you have to stay positive.
So my grandpa and I are sitting down at Table Rock Lake. We've been doing this, how long have we been coming here? Since I was a baby.
Over 50 years.
Yeah, so over 50 years, and we're on family vacation. And we were just sitting in this cabin this morning, and so I wanted to give you just a listen of my grandpa's journey on grief. He is one of the strongest mans I know, one of the most inspiring mans. He's a leader and just all around a great role model for all of us. He has, how many great grandkids do you have?
7.
He has 4 grandkids, 7 great grandkids, and we are all down here.
2 children.
He has 2 daughters, so we are all down here at Table Rock Lake for a week and on our family vacation, and we were just sitting here talking about different things. And so if you were to leave them with one or 2 words, what would you say?
I would say you have to continue to live your life. It's a must that you have a positive attitude and not just thoughts. You need to act in positive manners. And you need to realize that it's not the end of the world that if somebody's supposed to pick you up at 1 o'clock and they don't get there till 1:30. That's not the end of the world. Life's going to go on. Life's going to continue. And you have to put things in perspective and not take things in such a serious manner all the time.
That's some great advice. Thanks for recording with me, Grandpa.
Okay, my pleasure.
Okay, friend, I don't really know how to close this one out. This may be one of the most important conversations I've had on this podcast, and it's not because of anything I did. It's because my grandpa sat down with me and just spoke the truth from his heart about one of the hardest things he's been through. And that thing he said about going into a shell, he didn't say much more than that, and I just felt that. And I think that if you've lost someone, maybe you felt that too, hearing it. And Grandpa, I don't say this enough to you, but thank you for being honest with me today, even though I know that sometimes talking about this isn't easy, and for still choosing every day to come back out of that shell. And just the way that now you've been able to recognize it and really just step into changing your mindset. And I'm so blessed to have such great grandparents and that we keep my grandmother's memory alive. So if you can relate to this, if you know someone that can relate to this, please feel free to share it.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode. I hope today's story inspired you to embrace your own journey of growth and change. Remember, transformation isn't always easy, but it's always worth it. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, share it with a friend, and leave a review. If you found something that sparked you in this episode and may spark a friend, I encourage you to go share it with them. If you have your own story you would like to share, I would love to hear it, so please reach out to me. Until next time, friends, go have some fun and let those sparks fly.